Welcome back, everyone, to That Amazon Ads podcast, where we are continuing our journey through sponsored ads reports, how you guys can access these, download them, interpret them, understand them, and draw out actionable insights for all of your sponsored ad campaigns in Amazon. Andrew, how are you?
Doing well, Steven. Doing well. Glad to be here. Let's do another reporting episode. Been digging deep into those, so excited to dive into this one. Part three.
Your forte is reporting, I would say. So we're right in your wheelhouse.
That's
now, Andrew,
right.
I'm sure our YouTube audience would probably notice your background's very different than usual. Normally we're seeing your nice office, and now we just have a big gray wall. What's going on there?
Yeah. So been making some home renovations over the last couple weeks, been moving some stuff around. Remember that couch that I had? I got rid of that couch. It was taking up too much space. Moved some stuff around, moved the bookshelf around, but didn't want you to see what was going on behind here. There's a whole bunch of stuff hidden back there. It's a little messy, but a bunch of equipment. Yeah. You want to know what kind of equipment?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get to.
I know, I'm just kidding. A bunch of camera equipment, Steven. So everybody, Steven's coming out to Nashville to hang out with me for a little while. We're going to be shooting some content for you all, putting together some really in-depth, deep dive Amazon ad specific content that is going to go deep into the weeds, going to show you over the shoulder, behind the scenes style content. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be jam-packed into a masterclass, a course that's built just for Amazon advertisers like you to help you elevate your game, provide great results for your clients, improve your workflows, and ultimately just grow your business.
Yep. It will be. So we are proceeding with the masterclass. On some of the earliest episodes, we were throwing out that idea, but we decided to move forward with it. So it will be by far the highest quality content we've ever done. I think we've invested upwards of $10,000 into equipment for this. Yeah, at least.
Yeah, and the last year of time that has went into like planning, preparation, outlining, and just really making sure that we hit on every single piece of Amazon ads that we think is most important that so that you can be a better manager. So yeah, man, this is going to be fun. This is going to be deep dive, man. This is the best. I'm excited. We've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yep. So I'm flying out to Nashville later this week, and we will be. I was planning on originally sleeping on Andrew's couch, but he had to throw out the couch in order to
get rid of it,
make room for all of the other video equipment and our fancy little light board that we're excited to use for doing for actually teaching the course. So I'm gonna be staying in a hotel, but yeah, I'll be out there for about 4 or 5 days, and our plan is just to shoot for 8 to 10 hours a day and just get all the content out there and recorded and sent over to our editor to piece it all together. And so stay tuned for that. Hopefully that masterclass comes out within a few months after this episode comes out. So other than that, let's start looking into what we're going to be talking about today. Before we do dive in, we want to quickly address one of our comments that we received on YouTube. So thank you guys for leaving comments. We love getting these and getting the chance to answer them. But this comment comes from episode 14, the episode on calculating placement settings. And Charlie says, "Thank you for sharing an insightful strategy and calculator. I have one question. Do I need to follow the recommended bidding adjustment in the existing CPC? According to the calculator, increasing the adjustment will increase the CPC for top of search. Is this right?" That is correct. So that the calculator that we shared on episode 14, if you're listening, it's in the show notes on that episode. And if you're on YouTube, it's in the video description. But yeah, that takes you to a Google sheet where we have that formula, those calculator there. That is the formula we use for calculating our placement settings. Whatever that the column that says recommended bidding adjustment to increase, that will increase the CPCs for those placements. And it is calculated to essentially get you to maximize sales within your target ACoS for that placement. And so we use that for all of our campaigns. We have a more advanced version of it. That spreadsheet kind of basically only do one campaign at a time. We have a tool that does all of our campaigns all at once, and can get it gets a little bit more advanced and technical, but that calculator will get you most of the way there. So we're also planning on releasing that tool, the campaign placement calculator. We're going to have a free version of that connected to the web app API, so you can just connect your Amazon Ads account and update all your campaigns accordingly. So also be on the lookout for that. Anything else to add, Andrew?
No, I don't think so. Did we announce the Discord yet? Or are we still waiting? Oh, we're waiting until we get to 500 subscribers. That's
I
right.
think we need 500 subscribers still. So make sure you're subscribing so that once we hit that milestone, we open up the Discord, which is basically just a chat room for anybody to come in, hang out, talk about Amazon strategy, ask us questions, get more in depth, connect with other fellow PPCers. So lots of stuff, lots of fun stuff happening. We got masterclass, web app tool, like PPC managing tool, Discord server, podcast.
A lot of good stuff going on. A lot
Lots
of
of good
good
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Lots of good
Yeah.
stuff. We're just
Well,
out here building, man.
that's right. We're out here creating, just having a good time, man. We're just enjoying ourselves, talking about, all the stuff we do. But without further ado, hey, let's dive in, man. Let's dive into our reporting section today. We're going to talk about the Advertised Product Report, Sponsored Products Advertised Product Report. Let's dive in. Okay, so the Advertised Product Report. This is one of the most frequently used sponsored products advertising reports that I pull this on a pretty regular basis. This report, you probably use it, but it's really great for breaking out your individual product level metrics within sponsored products. So it allows you to break down how much you're spending, how many impressions, how many clicks, your click-through rate, your returns, your ACoS, all that type of stuff across each individual product that is in your advertising account that you're actively promoting. And so that report, combined with a whole bunch of other things, you could use this report for so many different things. Just by having that ASIN in there and you're able to extract that individual ASIN data, you're able to mix and match and use this report in a lot of different ways that we're going to dive into a little bit today. To start off, though, for this report, Stephen, do you want to tell us a little bit more about it? Is there anything else that I missed that you want to cover on the advertised product?
Yeah, so far we've already covered the search term report as well as the search term impression share report. And we talked about why sometimes you want to look at that individual search term data to see potential keyword harvesting opportunities, potential negative keyword opportunities, measuring impression share to kind of track your investment levels and efficiency on growing your brand awareness on Amazon. So that's when you want to see search term data. Other times you might want to see keyword data to kind of measure the effectiveness of your bids, to see kind of what categories you're spending the most on. So for that, you would use like a targeting report. And then other times you want to see ASIN data, individual ASIN data, how much you're spending on each product, everything like that. So Amazon has all these different, at the end of the day, your total spend is your total spend. But what these reports are allowing us to do are to break that spend down to see how that spend is being allocated, whether it's keyword to keyword, search term to search term, ASIN to ASIN. So this report is all about looking at the individual ASINs as we are advertising them and that total performance. And unlike the search term reports, where we said the search term reports give us data going back 60 days, advertised products actually gives us a slightly longer window going back 90 days, probably because it's a bit more consolidated than all those daily search terms. Amazon gives us a bit longer time frame to pull from, which can be very helpful. And that's going to, we can decide whether we want to use a summary or daily data. So Andrew, would you just, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, remind everyone the difference between if they toggle summary versus daily and why they'd want to choose one or the other?
Yeah. Good clarifier. So if you're selecting summary, basically this is going to summarize all of your data on an ASIN level for that particular range that you set. So you're not going to be able to see like trends or anything like that. It's just going to give you the sums of all your data across your ASINs. Now, the daily version allows you to get a lot more granular if you are interested in seeing the trends of a particular ASIN and some metrics associated with those over time. So with a daily report, you would be able to look at the daily spend on an individual ASIN. So those are kind of the two differentiators there. Different use cases for each one. Sometimes you need a daily if you're trying to illustrate and show a chart or show a visual of something, how you've increased spend or decreased spend or improved ACoS on a particular ASIN. You'd be able to do that with the daily report. Whereas with the summary report, I'd be more interested in looking at like monthly totals, so I could see like how much I spent on this product, or kind of how we netted out for a particular week or whatever. What if I'm like wrapping up a reporting period and I don't really necessarily need to see, daily information, daily data trended out or anything like that? Then I can go ahead and default to the summary report.
Cool. Well, let's switch tracks real quick and let's dive into more specifically how this report can actually help you to basically enhance your advertising reporting. So when you download your advertised product report for sponsored products, you are going to see all of your ASIN data spread out, and you will see that those ASINs are appearing multiple times because those advertised ASINs can be in multiple different ad groups, right? You've got your auto campaigns, your manual campaigns, however you have it segmented, your brand defense campaigns. So the first thing that Andrew and I usually do when we download one of these reports is we create a pivot table to essentially sum up all the data for these ASINs to kind of group them all together so we can see total ASIN data. Now, you could even be a little bit more, if you've got good campaign structure and good campaign naming systems, you can even, create two separate pivot tables. So you can look at your ASIN data just in your non-brand campaigns by applying a couple of filters and then running that pivot table, or just your brand defense campaigns. So all of that's really, really cool to see. But Andrew, I think you kind of prepped some screen sharing material to take a look at what this looks like after you've created a pivot table for one of the accounts you're working on. So you want to take it over and throw up that screen share?
Yeah. Let me pull that up real quick and we'll take a look. Okay. So first things first here. This is what the summary would look like. You can see down here we have the summary tab open. This is kind of what it would look like if we took the output, the advertised product report output that we get in a summary view, and we rolled it up into a pivot table and broke it out. So we'll cover how, you'll be able to watch another video to see how to create a pivot table. But in this instance, all we wanted to really segment out by, and typically kind of what you're looking for in this report, is that per product level metrics. So for our first column A, we have ASIN, and then going across here, we have all the different metrics that we'd be particularly interested in looking at for each product. So we can look at impressions, clicks, all that, so on and so forth. We can see everything we need, and every single one of these rows just represents an individual product. Now we have, for client confidentiality purposes, this blocked out, so you can't see, it's just dummy data. But if there was real data in here, you'd be able to see which ASIN, you'd know kind of which product
it's
that
real
was.
Data, right? You're just obscuring what the ASINs are.
Yeah. It was real data, but dummy ASINs. I guess I should have said dummy ASINs, not data. Yeah. But anyway, we just blocked them out anyway, just because. So anyway, yeah, you can see this individual product level data. You can break it out. You can look at, all the different values and stuff. You could plug in all your different values over here. You could look at same SKU sales versus other SKU sales, which might be interesting to see. So we could plug those two in there. We can see, which products are moving the most same SKU units. So like, the product that you're advertising is the product that they actually end up purchasing. And then we can see, which products have a higher other SKU sale rate. So like they're looking at, and actually they're clicking on an ad for one product and they end up purchasing another product. You'd be able to see that in here. So like this, for example, they more frequently purchase a different product than they actually click on for this row here for this product. This one has 1,644 advertised SKU unit sales, and this one has 2,571 other SKU unit sales. So this one's
Andrew,
selling more of another product.
Throw a quick calculated field in there for the same SKU sales to other SKU sales, or you could do, I was going to say either same SKU to total units or same SKU to other units, but we can kind of get a ratio there going. And then also while you're doing that, what Andrew just created is this kind of pivot table of advertised products. This is something very similar to this is available in the advertising console under the products tab. It's basically that view where things have been grouped together, so you can kind of see the total ASIN data. So before they had that table, we had to do these types of reports because it was the only way to kind of see our total ASIN data from a PPC perspective. So since Amazon has released the targeting tab, the products tab, it's much easier to get this data, but there are still some times where there are metrics that are not available in that view, which is why we have this dashboard set up. So one other thing, I'm not sure if you're still working, Andrew, but I was going to have you do something else already.
What you got?
Well, I was going to say, why don't you sort this table really quickly by conversion rate? So lowest to highest. So when you get this view going, when you can see kind of where there are certain products with really, really low conversion rates, this is a good opportunity for anybody to, if they're seeing that a product is really suffering far below the average, having this view can be helpful to tell you where you should be looking at for those individual products, what's going on in those either campaigns or the product listing itself. When I see really low conversion rates, I usually like to first go check the product listing, see if a negative review came through, see if something broke on the product listing page, if we lost some images, whatever, to see if there's an issue going on there. And if there's not, then I will go back to the PPC campaigns to see if there's any issues going on with our targeting or placements that might be affecting that. And then going back to those kind of same SKU versus other SKU sales, this is something that I find to be very valuable in terms of identifying the cross-selling potential, or at least the cross-selling history, which essentially what this means is if you promote a product on Amazon and someone clicks on that advertised product, if they end up buying anything else from your brand, not even necessarily that same product you're advertising, if they buy anything else from your brand, Amazon will attribute that sale to that click, to that campaign. So sometimes we would like to see, if this sale, if this specific product, let's just say we're really trying to move inventory, we're putting a lot of spend behind it, Amazon's telling us we're getting a lot of sales, but Seller Central is saying we're not moving the product at all. When we download these reports, we can see how many of those sales that are being attributed are actually this sale, this same SKU versus the sale coming from another SKU. And on the next episode, we'll talk about the purchase product report, which actually allows us to identify which ASIN within our brand is the cross-selling ASIN. So we won't talk any more about that on this one. We'll have that for another episode, but that's where that these metrics can come in. So yeah, Andrew, what are you seeing here? What else do you want to add to this?
No, that's pretty much it, honestly, for this section. I did go ahead and throw in a couple other fields here, and I'll just, filter this one real quick. But so I created
so this is interesting.
a column for same SKU percentage of total. So it took the same SKU sales divided by the sum of same SKU sales and to other sales. And basically, we're able to see like what percentage of the sales that are coming from this product ad are actually the product that we're advertising. And so we could find, areas of opportunity where it's like, almost all the time versus, or like almost all the time it's coming from the same SKU, or, not very often is it coming from the same SKU.
Those like 20% ones are really interesting. So yeah, what Andrew basically just did after pivoting out all the data to sum up those total metrics, he then just is calculating how many times the same SKU is purchased versus another. And it looks like in some of these, they have really, really low points where only 20% of the time is the same SKU purchased, or the advertised SKU, the actual purchase SKU, meaning 80% of the time, the sale came from another product. So that is just something really interesting to see, because and again, we'll talk about this on the next episode when we look at the purchase product report. But what I would like to see is what are those other SKUs that people are going to purchase? Perhaps it could be an upsell where, and I think we've used this example before, but maybe you're selling a 12-pack product for $12 and a 24-pack product for $20. And people are preferring that higher value of getting that 24-pack with a cheaper per unit price. And so that's where all the cross-selling is coming from. And it's not necessarily a good or bad thing if you're having a really low same SKU sales percentage of total. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's really just a matter of like, what are you trying to accomplish with this? If you really are trying to move that ASIN and people are, after clicking on that ASIN, going to the cross-sold unit, you can perhaps change some pricing or do a couple of other strategies there to help move the same SKU. But actually, from what I've seen, Andrew, cheaper priced products usually can rank a little bit better on Amazon and also get cheaper CPCs. So sometimes having that upsell opportunity is a good way to, if you're primarily promoting the more expensive product, Amazon's going to charge you more expensive CPCs. It's a little hard to get rankings since they prefer lower priced products. So that those cross-selling strategies can be a good way to move more expensive units at a cheaper CPC if your main advertised product is the cheaper one, and then you are, getting those cross sells going. So yeah, just all of this is just, the point of this whole episode, and I guess this whole series, is just showing you guys how you can access this data. And we're trying to give you a couple of ideas to push you in the right direction, but we can't possibly ever name all of the possible things that we can do with this, because it's really endless. It's only limited by your imagination. So
I'll give you one more example of like what I would use this for. So I would pull this report. Let's say I was interested in looking at, the last 30 days of data. I would pull this report, and then I would also go into Seller Central or Vendor Central, and I would pull, for the same date range, I would pull a total sales report or a total metrics report. So I would be able to see like total sessions, total sales, total, conversions and units sold for every individual ASIN. So I would take the advertised product report, pivot it out like this by ASIN, and then VLOOK up the data over into my total sales sheet. So then I can start to break down individual product metrics at an ASIN by ASIN level, and I can see how much I spent on an ASIN. I can see the total ACOS on each individual ASIN, and that really helps me just diagnose any performance issues, make pivots and changes, and it gives me a lot of insight at a individual product level that that you don't really have a view to see natively in the console. You can't pair your total and your ad data together, and this is the way that you can do that. And that's probably one of the most valuable things that I use this for. So make sure you test that out, try that out, and see if you like it. It's definitely useful for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're a seller or an advertising manager, and if you're a seller and you're asking this question, or you're a manager and your client is asking this question, to essentially see the overall profitability at an ASIN by ASIN level. And if you don't have a reporting tool, like a third-party tool that automatically has all that built in, this is the way that you can kind of do it yourself. You just take this report, take Seller Central, you're going to combine the two to see at an ASIN to ASIN level how much you're spending, how many sales you're generating in total. You can also factor in your COGS, your cost of goods sold, and basically just like FBA fees and the unit pricing cost for your actual manufacturing, and identify all that total profitability. So, all right, we are trying to make these episodes shorter. So the goal of this was 20 minutes. In 20 minutes or less, demonstrate the advertised product.
We spent like 10 minutes talking about nonsense. So we're going to actually just show one more thing here on this screen share. We're going to switch it over to the daily view. So we can't forget the daily view. This is super important. We talked about it. Got to make sure we show you what it actually looks like. So basically it's going to look exactly the same, except it's going to be a lot larger file. You're going to have a lot more rows because it's looking at every individual product ad on a day-to-day basis. So it's saying on this day, this is how much it spent on this ASIN. And on the next day, this is how much it spent on this ASIN. And it gives you all those metrics, not just spend, for every individual ASIN for every single day. Now, like I said before, this is super important for when you want to see things trended out over time. Whenever you want to see the impact that you had on a particular ASIN with changes that you made, whether it would be to increase bids and you're trying to elicit an increase in spend, you could see what kind of impact you're having and like when those changes took place, or just identify any particular trends that happen on like kind of a day-to-day basis, or if you need to get really refined and narrow and granular with your data, this is how you would do it. So same idea here, except instead of pivoting out the summary data, we pivoted out the daily data and then created a pivot table that instead of looking at ASIN by ASIN, we're looking at day by day. So our first row is the date. So we're looking at day by day. And then I added a filter so that way I could look at individual ASINs. So if I click this open, it'll give me a drop-down list of ASINs, and then I can select one of them, and then it'll show me the trend of this individual product's spend and sales for that time period. And so you'll be able to see, like, as you can see, the overall spend on the account has been kind of slowly on sponsored products, slowly dwindling and coming down as we've been kind of pulling back on some things, trying to lower ACOS and that type of stuff. But if there was a particular product that I wanted to look at, I could just filter for that product and then see that exact product that I want to report on. And that's the benefit and that's the value that the daily advertised product report gives you.
And for those who are just listening, they can't quite see all the visuals going on, but it's essentially Andrew has a trend chart pulled up. It's showing the spend and sales over time. And within this chart, there's that drop down where you can pick one ASIN or a group of ASINs to specify, so you can actually see the trending data for those ASINs in particular. And that actually, I think, is a unique view. I don't think the advertising console has that ability to see trend charts for individual ASINs. The only way to do that would be if you had single ASIN campaigns and you were filtering and you had those ASINs in the campaign names. That's kind of the only way to kind of see that individual ASIN data trended in the console. So
you would still have to be. Well, yeah, I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
I don't even know how to do these, Andrew. So hopefully you're able to add some of this to the masterclass
so that I
can learn
myself.
Man,
I'm going to teach you.
Not those types of tables.
Oh, dude, I'll help you out. I got you.
No, on the summary tab that you have open, that's the end of my knowledge. I don't know how to do any of this other stuff.
All right. Well,
so when I get to Nashville, you'll teach me how to do that. And
Well, hey, we're going to be putting together all kinds of content just like this,
yeah.
over the shoulder, looking at spreadsheets, going in depth on how to use each individual one. It's going to be great, man. Like, I'm so excited to really share all the breadth of knowledge that we've gained over the last, 5 to 10 years. So super, super excited for that. But yeah, that's pretty much the summary of the advertised product report for today. Do you have anything else to add, Stephen?
No, but I'll see you Thursday.
All right. We'll see you Thursday on That Amazon Ads Podcast. Catch you next time.